Yeah, yeah, right through the freshly sown crops. Yeah, thanks. Thanks, Hans, you dick. Hi guys, what is going on, and welcome to Manor Lords. Been really excited for this game for a very, very long time, and we have finally got the first demo version available to play. So, well, I thought, how can we not? So, you can't actually save in this version. So I've been having a little bit of a play around with it with a few things, but essentially we're just going to start a new game. Obviously, load in, we do have a little bit of a sort of character creator. I kind of like this guy, what a quality moustache. And then you get to design your own shield, you know, you can do lots of different options and different colours, primary colours, secondary colours, tertiary colours, etc. But we're not going to worry about that too much. So, Evo of Loz, there we go. We'll leave all the game settings as standard. It is quite hard, this game. And here we go, our little starting settlement, our little village. We get our kind of initial goals of things we've got to do. So let's give this a little bit of thought. Now, a few things that have kind of caught me out so far in this game is this oxen, which is really cool. It's really an essential animal for transporting logs, building supplies, etc. So if you sort of get all the builders building, then you can sometimes find that the ox is too busy building and it can't be used for, you know, dragging logs from the woodcutting camp. But anyway, let's open the building queue because we've got a lot of stuff to place down. Obviously, we are going to need workers to be able to cut down logs, because that's going to be an essential part. Let's get that down over there. We're also going to need something like a forager's hut, because we're going to need some berries. Do we have any berries in our land? Bit of a berry shortage, haven't we? Berries elsewhere, but not in our land. Okay, that's going to make life a bit more difficult. All the buildings basically snap to the roads. That's how you can kind of do this sort of style of building. And you can also basically place roads at any point. So you can connect things like, you know, your wood piles, and it all kind of snaps around quite nicely. Or you can just free build, and it just essentially you can place the road wherever you want it to go. And you can also sort of pre-place road in different directions. And I love how it curves around buildings, look, which is really nice. It makes it give this sort of really organic feel to it, which I like. And then when you get later on onto the sort of the house building placement, you can sort of curve buildings in weird and wonderful shapes and all sorts of things, which is just really, really cool. Building a plot, you see, you can just do like a traditional, you know, flat line, nothing overly exaggerated, or you can kind of twist it around on the corner plots here like this. And I love that, 'cause it makes these sort of just really organic style plots. And I just think that's really cool in the way it works. We'll get that a lot all under the way constructing. We've also got to build a water well. And this is the one thing I really hate about this game. As a geologist, water does not run in a random grid pattern under the ground like this. Water divining is not real. Yeah, this I really hate. But other than that, I absolutely love this game. but please change it. We don't want water veins running under the ground. It doesn't work like that.
Get to work, lads!
It seems like you start off with five little peasant families who are going to be busily sort of getting to work, getting everything down. They start off, a family produces obviously like one man, but then you can also have a wife and a child. But because we haven't got any housing yet, they don't bother working in that way for now. So now we've got a hunting camp up. Let's just assign one man to start working on doing a little bit of hunting. Because we have got a couple of stacks of wild animals we can make use of. But I think one of the early things we're going to have to get built once we've got sort of our hunting camp, storehouse, granary and all that sort of stuff built up, making use of farming. I love how they just tow with this oxen, tow the logs to the building site. It's such a cool way of doing it. I've never seen another game do it like this before. Absolutely love it. The other thing I really like, I don't know if anyone's sort of played with this yet, you can do like a first person mode. You can go into like visit mode. Haha! I am the Lord here. You can walk around, you can see your peasants building in real time. Let's go and inspect the building site. You there. Are you hard at work? Ah, roof. Kind of a cool feature if you don't walk into the walls. And there we go, our logging camp is now all built. I think we are probably going to just assign one guy to start working there. Problem is, because I've got so many sort of buildings queued up and stuff, that means our poor little, our little ox. That name. What a name. Our poor little ox is kind of busy, and for the logging camp, they're obviously going to go off, cut trees down, but they need the ox to drag the trees back to the logging camp. So until the ox gets a bit of availability, there's no point assigning loads and loads of people to the logging camp, I don't think. Our little house is starting to take shape. We have our little sort of wicker woven fence coming up. They're getting on pretty well with the construction work. It's looking pretty nice. And you see what I mean, how it sort of like curves to the plot. And that's some of the things I really, truly love about this game, is it's really sort of organic design. It doesn't feel like, I mean, and you can make it kind of a grid pattern if you really want to, but that's not how medieval villages were. They're this really sort of organic shape that develops, and roads come off in weird and wonderful directions, and building plots sort of fit into the land available. And that's what I really love about this game, is just the way it sort of develops, not just a gridded city builder where you've just got 100 squares in a row which peasants live in. It never worked like that. And one thing I didn't know you can actually do is do like extensions. You can build like a vegetable garden. I actually want to keep my tool for a farm building, but you can do stuff like that and it produces a few extra vegetables, which kind of helps alleviate your food crisis a little bit. Or you can have like a chicken coop or a goat, but I don't have any money, so as of yet, we cannot do that. You don't have to snap to roads, you can leave roads snapping off and then you can just manually rotate and everything. But I kind of like it because you need road connections anyway. And it produces some kind of weird shapes.
Get to work,
A little bit there. Then that way we can sort of box in this little bit of field here and it'll produce a really sort of funky shaped field. So if I put that down to there, let's go like that. Cool, and then we get a little bit of field, and I love the fact they do like a little mini sort of attempt at a hedgerow. Not exactly going to be keeping a lot out, but and we get a little fallow field there, which is kind of cool. And our slightly offensive ox is now going back to work and dropping off the logs. Oh, it's just collided with the poor the guy bringing back all the meat. So now our farm has been built. I'm going to set this so to enable idle labourers. That's a bit of a tongue twister. Enable idle labourers. Try and say that quickly 5 times. And that should mean when anyone's not doing anything, they should now come and work in this little field. Because we've got to get it ploughed as our sort of main goal. I think you can sometimes get ploughing in quickly for a summer harvest, but it probably is difficult. I suppose we have got a couple of spare unassigned families, so technically
Let's go, people.
it might be good to assign them to force a few people to work in the field, because it would be really nice if we could get a cheeky spring harvest in and possibly get a late sort of summer harvest. Ah, finally, we've got a few people. Good old Farmer Thomas ploughing by hand, doing his work, as long as Vate, who's started to plough on the field. Good. So it is now May, and it's about to be summer. So, yeah, it's not quite going as fast as we would like, and we have ploughed 5%. Little bit of work still to do here, methinks. Nice, there we go. Settlement level increased. We have our 5 little housing plots. And you technically get a new development point. But, as I said, at the moment, we can't yet spend these because it's just the demo version of the game. It's July now, and it is probably a very wet July. You'd think it wouldn't rain quite so much in the sort of peak of summer. I do love how we get the little sort of the puddles on the roads. They look really, really cool. Got a little ruts, and that's something about this game. It is beautifully sort of created. The graphics are absolutely lovely. It's just stunning, isn't it? I love the water in the puddles. It's really, really nicely done. Well, we've finally got a bit of sun back, so our poor crop actually stands some chance. I think all the rain has really sort of dampened our resource production. We're only going to get 71 now, which is kind of a shame. I was hoping for a slightly more productive crop, but hey-ho. I do think we should probably think about placing another field, because I think you're actually supposed to do your fields in summer. Oh no, crop harvest autumn, ploughing and sowing recommended for the maximum yield next summer. Okay, we can hang on a little bit then. Well, I suppose we'll place the field down anyway. I was going to put something like this, like a sort of area around here, and I was going to have this as our barley field. I suppose it's probably about time we think about getting some of our little market stalls placed down. So let's get a little food stall
Get to work.
and a firewood stall placed down so that people can buy food and firewood. They seem to be able to collect it anyway, so it doesn't seem to be a massive problem, but I don't know, somehow it seems like it seems nice to have a stall. Here we go, our little tannery is now online. I might actually nick someone off the storehouse because he's not really doing all that much work. Where did I put my tannery? Here it is. There we go. We'll assign a worker there, and he should now start taking those pelts and converting them to leather. And then at a later date, we can maybe set up a trading post and start to try and sell some of those. The only problem with bringing in more people is that it's more mouths to feed. So suddenly, things like crops, which are going to be harvested in 4 days, become really more and more and more important. Oh, and there we go. Another new family has come in. So we are getting a bit low on food. We only have basically a month's worth, but I'm hoping if we start the guy up on the windmill, there's a bakery around here somewhere, isn't it, as well? Yeah, we'll have to assign one of the farm workers once they've got all this harvested in, and I think we should be okay, because we've got quite a bit of crops actually in storage. Is it in the granary? Or the storehouse? Or is it just still sort of loitering on the field? Oh, it is kind of still loitering on the field. Hopefully they bring that in shortly. Okay, nice. They're moving the rest of it into the farmhouse, and he's starting to work ploughing on the field. So it's still only September. We've got a few months yet, so we should be able to get these 2 fields ploughed. Thank God it stopped raining, which is nice. And we've got a few extra families, so we should be starting to mill down some of this flour. The windmill is spinning. Oh, they actually have to thresh the wheat to grain first. As I see, that's why it's got a threshing priority. They're using the farm to turn the wheat to the grain. Oh, that's cool. Not many games actually introduce threshing. Well, that looks like a fair bit of work for them, so they better be cracking on with that. We're really going to need this because our food crisis is somewhat growing. We are getting a lot of grain out though, which is very good. And there's the miller. Old Hans is taking his bag of grains back to his windmill. Bit of an uphill climb, I'm afraid, mate. Sorry. And this field is actually nearly ploughed. It is actually fully ploughed, so they should start doing a bit of seeding, which they are. I think they're all actually throwing the seeds on each other. Maybe they're just having a seed fight. As a man drags a dead deer across the field in the background. Yeah, right through the freshly sown crops. Yeah, thanks, Hans, you dick. Actually, slight change of plan on the church front is what I'm actually thinking I might do instead is build a trading post. So we can sell some leather to get some money and then use the money to buy some animals. So let's get that in there. And then we're also going to need a livestock trading post so we can conversely buy the animals. Because it would be quite nice to have a second oxen as well. There we go, our trading post is now on. So we can assign someone here, set him as a travelling trader. Then we want to export only. And what's our target? Is 25 leather still in stock. So we have more. So export if stock is greater than target, which it is. Our target is 25, our stock is 39. So in theory, the man here should now start very slowly selling this. Because we don't have carts, he can only basically carry one piece at a time, and he has to carry it like all the way to the nearest trade point, which is miles away. So he's gonna have a bit of a crap time of it, if I'm honest. But he shall very slowly start to export stuff, I think. Well, it is now late November. Things are looking pretty good, to be honest. Our fields are sort of set now for the winter. Got sort of till summer, but we should be getting some very good harvests out of them, hopefully, which will be nice. Our food supplies are increasing. We've still got an absolute boatload of grain, so we really don't have to worry about that. And yeah, all in all, things are looking pretty healthy for our little village. Well, it is officially winter. We're now in December. The snows haven't come yet, but it is certainly a little bit chilly out by the feels of it. At least it's not raining. Our crops are still merrily plodding along. And food is looking great. I'm quite pleased with how this is going so far. Better than I did on the last time I played this when everyone starved to death, which wasn't so good, if I'm honest. But still kind of waiting on my little guy to go and do his second sale so I can then set him off buying another ox, which I think is what we really need to try and increase wood production. We have actually just got now up to 8 timber, so we could, in fact, perhaps sneak this church in somewhere, which would be kind of cool. I think we'll probably just have it on the outskirts of the village, because, well, that's the only space we've got left. Yeah, I'm thinking somewhere sort of around here.
Let's get to work.
Sneak a church, let's get that built. And that at least provides the church side of things. But hey, settlement level increase, our church is built. Nice. We technically get another development point, which we can't use, but hey ho. We do also think to need to... Words, Evo, words. We do also need to think at some point about building ourselves an actual little manor house, because that enables us to do tax collectors and stuff, because we will at some point have to start paying some tax. But first, I think we need to gather a little bit more timber. Okay, and here comes our second ox. Good old Heinz has been off buying Linhard, a name that we can finally pronounce without getting banned on YouTube. Thank God. And then this will enable sort of 2 oxen to go gather wood, take building supplies to site, etc, etc. It should be a little bit better. Make the process a little bit quicker. Okay, so that gives us 10 logs. So let's complete that then. Set that off constructing, and we need to put a gateway in.
Let's get to work.
So let's leave them to start constructing that, and that should give us our little bailey area where we can have our manor house and as well as our tax collector and other little stuff like that. Oversee the construction of our village from our little vantage point on a, well, not really on top of a hill necessarily, but a slight incline. Oh yeah, that's something else. Of course, we brought a sheep, didn't we? But we've not been looking after the sheep, if I'm honest. Let's think about building. Oh, I've got to build a pasture and a pasture farm and everything, haven't we? Oh Christ, sheep farm. Where on earth are we going to build this? Where do we want to do a bit of sheep farming? Over here, maybe? By the church? Is it nice to have a sheep farm by a church? I'm not really sure. Put that in there. There we go, we can build that, stick the sheep in there, and then we'll hopefully have a spare person to man it all as well. Our little sheep farm's being knocked up in no time. Oh, we've got our sheep in the paddock. Nice. I love the sort of, it just comes together so nicely, these villages. They just look so natural, just on a slight perched hillside. This could just be sort of any European, Central European village. Just absolutely love it. I think it just looks absolutely fantastic, this game. Okay, we now have enough timber available. There's one that's actually being dragged through the bailey to build ourselves our actual manor house now. So where should we put that? Something like that? Kind of a cool little place in the edge of the courtyard. Oh, it actually integrates into the wall, does it? I hope I'm not just going to end up with a hole in my wall now. That will be quite annoying. I just realised a mistake I think I might have made. Because I've basically had 2 crops in the same field in a row, it means they're kind of really crap. So I probably should have switched them around and put this as the barley field once I'd harvested it, and then this as the sort of wheat field, because now I think they're both really quite low productivity. Nice, okay. Oh, and it did integrate it into the wall. Nice. So we now have our own little manor house, and I think this can actually accommodate a few people in it as well, which is kind of nice. I think we can now also build our tax collector, which we can, once we get a little bit more timber. So we've got a little tax collector built. So I think if we tax the peasantry, we get some, they don't like it, but we get some income. So that seems reasonable. Hopefully then, that should give us a little bit more money. So one thing we are going to have to build, because we're soon going to be harvesting our barley, is a way of actually brewing this. So we're going to have to turn it from barley to malt and then actually brew it into ale. So, I think it would make sense to put some of these buildings kind of close down here. Now have a whole 3 sheep, and old Jacob is busy, well, wooling them, which looks like we're just carrying an ass. We aren't actually now producing our own wool. Clicked on some random man in the forest. So we're now actually producing our own wool, so I'm trying to set up a second clothing store, which I'm hoping is going to sell the wool, and then that should actually finish a lot of our stuff. So we'll have the food, water, fuel done, clothing, if we can get it on the market store, done, faith done, so it's all we need is a pub and a beer, which we then just need to get this barley field sorted for. Oh, the harvest has started, I think. Yes, okay, they're starting to harvest stuff now. Nice, it's all coming in, all getting harvested. All the barley's coming in as well, which is looking pretty good. I don't know how much we're going to actually end up with. Still only 25, so it really was a very unproductive crop. Nice, well that gave us a little bit more wheat. It's not exactly going to solve world hunger, but it should probably do us enough to see us through to next year, hopefully. And then we'll plant barley in this field, and then hopefully we can do a crop rotation here. So, let's build ourselves a tavern then. Where are we going to place this? Somewhere just on the edge of town around here? A pub, the most important building that we can have in the entire village. Let's get that built. Okay, if we've got a tavern built, let's get a guy assigned there. And then that should fulfill that. And then all we really need to do then is get this wool from the sheep farm. Have we lost a sheep? Oh no, they just stood on top of each other. Whew, thought we'd lost one then. And get this basically assigned over somehow to this stall. I'm going to have a go at putting this spare guy on this clothing stall here, just to see if he may take the stuff from the sheep rather than the leather. That means putting leather on it again. No! Oh, God damn it, it's just packed the clothing store full of leather. I want wool! Yeah, because we have our entertainment field. If we can just get the sheep clothing sorted, then we should be good. Because we're getting beer produced, well, I don't want to say quickly, but it's being produced. We have a reasonable amount of barley left. It's just there's so much leather for sale. I don't understand why it just keeps getting stocked with leather. No! I can fit in one more clothing store. Last attempt. How is there actually any leather left in the storage? That's what I don't understand. Are they actually going over to the tannery to actually drag leather out? Well, the market stall construction continues until we can get some wool for sale. Oh, do we need to build a weaver's workshop to convert wool into yarn? That could be a mistake. That could be a my bad moment. Oops, I did not know that. In which case, that would explain why it's not for sale on any of the things if we need to actually convert it to yarn first. Before people can actually use it. That would make sense. That would make sense. We just say cloth yarn. Yeah, okay, we need yarn. We need yarn. I'm an idiot. Yep. Okay, and we're going to assign 2 people to rapidly get this weaver's workshop off doing its thing. Okay, we're getting yarn being produced. Yes, it's happening. We've got the yarn to the clothing store. There's one piece. Quickly, quickly upgrade everything. Nice. Okay, that's going to start upgrading. Oh, we've got loads we can upgrade. Well, that was kind of my main aim for this video. I've actually got quite a lot of wood, so we can upgrade loads of these. Okay, so this is now the level 2 house. Do look a little bit better, I must admit. Less sort of peasant hovel, while still kind of a peasant hovel, but we do have an upstairs window, which is always a benefit. Nice. Well, I am really pleased with how this has been going. This was kind of my main aim, to get this sort of little slightly upgraded hovels. You can see like the kind of the level 1 with the sort of wattle and door walls, and we've kind of upgraded slightly. Anyway, this has been fun. I am really enjoying Manor Lords. It is pretty epic. Kind of a shame you can't save, but I understand that's just kind of for the demo version. But anyway, hopefully you've enjoyed this video. If you have, do let me know what you think in the comments down below. Of course, subscribe to the channel. We'll be covering a lot more Manor Lords stuff as it all comes available. Thanks for watching, guys. I'll see you all on the next video.